Hi, I'm Dr Philippa Whitford. I'm the SNP candidate here in Central Ayrshire. I'd like to thank all of you who wrote in questions, and I'm going to try and answer those I can over the next 15 minutes or so. Complacency or not using our votes is the biggest danger to democracy. I know that it involves either filling in a postal vote form or popping down to the polling station, but it's critical that everyone makes their voice heard. In my constituency, it's basically between myself and the Conservative candidate, and that's the choice that people face. So it's important that you do use your voice and make your choice clear. If we don't have people using their vote, then what happens is decisions are taken away from them and they have no influence on the Parliament that will be deciding their future. It's been a privilege to be the Member of Parliament for Central Ayrshire over the last 4.5 years, during which time I and my team have managed to help hundreds of individual constituents deal with problems, particularly with the DWP removing their benefits, and we've been able to give them voice and get their problems solved. I'm also very active with many of our local voluntary groups trying to improve our communities and our environment, whether that's picking up rubbish in the woodland or making our communities more dementia friendly. I was the first MP to raise the Ayrshire Growth Deal at Westminster, and I'm delighted that this has finally been agreed, with half the funding from the Scottish Government and half from Westminster. As the SNP health spokesperson at Westminster, naturally the well-being of my constituents, and indeed people right across Scotland and the UK, is a major concern. This is why I speak up against poverty and austerity, as poverty is the biggest single driver of ill health, and also why I speak up with my concerns about Brexit, which will damage and undermine all 4 UK health services. In 2017, the then Scottish Labour leader Kezia Dugdale encouraged Labour voters to vote Tory to keep out the SNP from many seats. Because of this, she managed to send an extra 12 Tory MPs from Scotland down to Westminster. That's the reason that Theresa May got to stay in number 10. I don't think Labour voters will be fooled again. If you don't want Tory MPs from Scotland, in all of the Tory seats in the North East, it is a head-to-head race between the SNP and the Conservatives. Indeed, it's the same here in my constituency in Central Ayrshire. The closest vote to me would be a Conservative MP. Every extra Conservative MP from Scotland simply gives Boris Johnson more power to drag Scotland out of Europe, either with no deal or with his terrible deal. This general election campaign from the SNP is not the decision about independence, it's about Scotland's right to make that choice at some point in the future. We totally recognise that there will be different opinions in that referendum, and also that many people do not yet support independence. However, the majority of Scots support having the Scottish Parliament, and what we see through the power grab is that the Tories are trying to hollow it out. That's something we simply cannot accept. I can understand that people are frustrated with Brexit. Believe me, after 3.5 years sitting in the House of Commons talking about it, I'm fed up of it too. But that glib line from the Tories masks the fact that Brexit will be harmful. Any form of Brexit will harm Scotland and indeed many parts of the UK. Most people now know that a no-deal Brexit would be catastrophic. But Boris Johnson's plan is actually a very hard Brexit, meaning a lot of friction at borders, a lot of bureaucracy, and a lot of tariffs for our farmers, our fishermen, and our local aerospace and pharmaceutical industries. And we're looking just across the water at Northern Ireland, who are having the opportunity to stay in the single market and customs union. The Scottish Government proposed a compromise that would also have allowed Scotland to remain in the single market and customs union, thereby respecting how we voted. Unfortunately, that was thrown out after a matter of weeks. So it's very easy to say, get Brexit done, But why would we actually want to harm our local communities, our businesses, and our public services like the NHS, all of which will suffer from Brexit? The phrase once in a generation was a warning, not a promise or a pledge. And what we see by the fact that Westminster parties of all colours are trying to stop Scotland ever expressing its view again is that that warning was actually well given. The fact is, the United Kingdom many people voted to remain part of in 2014 has changed beyond all recognition. One of the major promises was vote no to stay in Europe. But we see that certainly isn't happening, as despite our 62% vote to remain, Scotland faces being dragged out against its will by a hard Tory Brexit. The other thing we were told was it's a family of nations, be equal partners in it. The following day, we had the announcement about English votes for English laws, and the complete disrespect and contempt shown for Scottish MPs within Westminster and the undermining of the Scottish Parliament by the power grab show that we need the right to go forward. There will be many people who don't agree with independence, and that's a debate for another day. But Scotland cannot be locked out of having a democratic choice. Vote SNP in this election for the right to choose your own future. The European Union and the United Kingdom are two very different kinds of union. While Scottish MPs have little influence in the direction of the UK, we would have a seat at the top table in Europe with a voice, a veto and a vote. We would even get our turn at the presidency, similarly to countries as small as Malta or Finland. We do not want to be an isolationist country, like Brexit Britain is likely to be. Scotland wants to be independent, to look outwards, to be part of this union of 28 countries working to face some of the challenges of the 21st century, whether it's climate change, cyber attack, or dealing with the refugee crisis. As one of our famous MPs once said, "Stop the world, Scotland wants to get on." I've always supported the WASPI women, along with all of my SNP colleagues, and the SNP funded a report into how to mitigate against the 2011 acceleration of the change in retirement age for 1950s born women. As a WASPI woman myself, I know that I never got a letter telling me about such a dramatic change in my pension age from 60 to 66. And many of these women have lost as much as £45,000 and are living in hardship. I have signed the WASPI pledge this morning, and I will continue to support them. I know that some people say, why doesn't the Scottish Government sort this? Well, in clause 28 of the 2016 Scotland Act, it very clearly excludes pensions from any form of new Scottish Government benefit. But most importantly, these women are not looking for crisis funding or a handout. These women have worked all their lives and paid in to the Westminster Treasury. They paid in, they expect the UK government to pay out. Well, thanks very much to all of you for taking part in sending questions in. I hope that some of my answers have cleared up where I stand and where the SNP stand. I'm Dr Philippa Whitford. I'm your candidate for Central Ayrshire. I hope you will come out and vote. And of course, I hope you'll come out and vote for me.